Weather conditions could turn dangerous across the United States as severe storms, tornadoes, and flooding threaten multiple regions. Today's precipitation map shows a mostly quiet pattern across much of the United States, but there are a few areas that deserve close attention. The biggest concentration of precipitation is along the southeast and Gulf Coast, with rain spreading across parts of Florida and nearby coastal areas. A stronger pocket is visible near the northern Gulf Coast, while another broader area of precipitation is positioned offshore along the Atlantic. Across Texas, Oklahoma, the Southern Plains, and much of the central United States, precipitation is generally limited on this map. The Midwest is also relatively quiet, although some light precipitation is visible near the Great Lakes and around parts of the northern tier. Farther west, scattered light precipitation appears in parts of the interior west, while much of California and the southwest remain comparatively dry. In the northeast, precipitation is mainly concentrated near and offshore from the coast, with lighter areas extending toward New York and nearby states. This means the heaviest activity shown on the map is not covering the entire country. It is focused in smaller, more localized zones. For today, the main precipitation concern is the southeast and Gulf Coast, where locally heavier rain could develop. Over the next 3 days, the most important risk is repeated rainfall in parts of the southeast, especially where showers or thunderstorms move over the same locations. That could produce brief periods of very heavy rain and localized flooding. The exact placement can change quickly, so residents should monitor updated local forecasts and official alerts. Stay with us, because the wind pattern across the United States shows a generally moderate setup, but a few areas stand out where stronger winds could become important. On this map, the colors and moving streamlines show the direction and relative strength of the wind. Across the western United States, winds are mostly light to moderate, with some more noticeable flow around the Pacific Northwest, Great Basin, and parts of the Southwest. Seattle is showing around 19, while Salt Lake City is near 23, and Los Angeles is near 9 on the map. These areas do not show a nationwide extreme wind signal. Moving into the central United States, winds remain mostly moderate. Dallas is around 15, while Houston is near 19. Chicago is showing about 25, making the Great Lakes and nearby Midwest one of the more noticeable wind zones today. Minneapolis is lower, around 13. Farther east, the wind becomes more active around the northeast and Atlantic side. Washington is near 25, while New York is around 33, indicating a stronger wind zone near the northeastern coast. Atlanta is around 16, and Tampa is near 16, so much of the southeast has lighter wind conditions. Over the next 3 days, the biggest wind concern would be any strengthening or expansion of the stronger flow across the Great Lakes, Midwest, or Northeast. If winds increase significantly, exposed areas could experience difficult travel and scattered disruptions. However, this map alone does not confirm a major windstorm. Keep checking updated local forecasts and official wind advisories for your area. The heat pattern across the United States is the story to watch today, with the strongest temperatures concentrated across the south and southwest. If you live in these areas, stay with this update because the hottest zone is clearly visible on the map. Texas is among the warmest areas, with Dallas near 36 degrees Celsius and Houston also around 36 degrees Celsius, which is roughly 97 degrees Fahrenheit. That level of heat can feel intense, especially during the afternoon. Temperatures are also very warm across parts of the southern plains, the lower Mississippi Valley, and the southeast. Atlanta is around 29 degrees Celsius, or about 84 degrees Fahrenheit, while Tampa is near 34 degrees Celsius, or roughly 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Along the East Coast, Washington is around 28 degrees Celsius, and New York near 30 degrees Celsius. So, the eastern United States is warm, but the most intense heat is farther south. Across the central and northern states, temperatures are more moderate. Chicago is near 24 degrees Celsius, Minneapolis around 22 degrees Celsius, and Seattle is near 17 degrees Celsius. Salt Lake City is around 24 degrees Celsius, while Los Angeles is near 25 degrees Celsius. The main temperature concern over the next 3 days is continued heat across Texas and the southern United States. If these high temperatures persist or rise further, heat stress could become a serious concern, especially for people spending long periods outdoors. The map does not confirm an extreme heat emergency everywhere, so local forecasts and official heat alerts remain important. People should limit strenuous outdoor activity during peak afternoon heat and stay aware of changing conditions. Expect the hottest conditions to stay focused across the southern tier. Today's humidity pattern across the United States shows a sharp contrast between the dry west and much more humid conditions across the east, south, and Gulf Coast. The key numbers on this map are dew points, which help show how much moisture is present in the air. The driest air is concentrated across the interior west. Salt Lake City is around 11 degrees Fahrenheit dew point, while Seattle is near 14 degrees Fahrenheit. These low readings indicate relatively dry air, meaning the atmosphere contains much less moisture. Moving toward the central United States, moisture increases. Minneapolis is around 14 degrees Fahrenheit, Chicago near 17 degrees Fahrenheit, and Dallas around 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Farther south, Houston reaches about 25 degrees Fahrenheit, showing a much more moisture-rich atmosphere. The highest moisture levels on this map are concentrated across the southeast and Gulf Coast. Atlanta is around 22 degrees Fahrenheit, Tampa is near 24 degrees Fahrenheit, and the East Coast remains humid, with Washington around 20 degrees Fahrenheit and New York near 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Los Angeles is also relatively moist at about 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Over the next 3 days, the biggest humidity concern is continued moisture across the south, southeast, and Gulf Coast. High humidity can make warm temperatures feel more oppressive and can support an environment where heavy rain or thunderstorms become more efficient if other weather ingredients come together. However, humidity alone does not confirm a major storm or flooding event. A strong high-pressure system is dominating much of the United States today, and it is the biggest weather feature on the pressure map. The highest pressure, around 1,028 millibars, is centered over the central Rocky Mountain region, helping create generally stable weather across a large part of the country. From the Great Plains through Texas, the Midwest, and much of the Southeast, pressure remains between 1,015 and 1,019 millibars. This means many states will experience calm winds, warm afternoons, and mostly dry conditions. Cities like Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Chicago, and Minneapolis are sitting under stable air with very little pressure change today. Along the West Coast, pressure is slightly lower near California, around 1012 to 1014 millibars. That may allow some coastal clouds and breezy conditions, but no major pressure-driven storm is affecting the western United States today. The Northeast, including New York and nearby states, is under pressure between 1,016 and 1,017 millibars. Weather conditions remain fairly balanced, although slightly cooler air is staying closer to the Canadian border. Now, here is the important 3-day pressure warning. Over the next 72 hours, this strong high-pressure system is expected to clash with lower pressure building across parts of the northern and eastern United States. If that pressure pattern strengthens, it could create a dangerous setup for powerful winds, heavy thunderstorms, localized flash flooding, and sudden weather changes across several states. Residents across the Midwest, Great Lakes, Northeast, and parts of the East Coast should closely monitor weather updates, because pressure changes can rapidly increase the risk of severe weather during the next 3 days.